had this sketchbook for 7 years. The first picture in here was drawn the 7th of November 2018. This was drawn. I was 18 years old. I'm now 25. I know the illusion of time since COVID has left us all, and 2018 doesn't seem like it was that far away. Just to put in to scale how long ago it was when I started this sketchbook. When I started this sketchbook, I wasn't in university. Since then, I went through university, got an animation degree, I've had like 4 different jobs, and I also ran a business from home for 3 years, all while this sketchbook was still ongoing. And I'm finally on the last 2 pages. I thought it might be kind of cool. The concept that I'm going for is probably something to replicate the past 7 years, so like a graduation theme page. Maybe the second page could be growing a small business, because those are like the main 2 things I did during that period. So I think it'll wrap everything up in a nice little neat bow so we can finally put this sketchbook to rest. So without further ado, let's get straight into it.
So the first thing that I did when tackling this first image here, which is the graduation artwork, was I went onto Pinterest. I wasn't really sure what to do for this artwork. I had absolutely 0 ideas, but I saw a lot of artworks or like pictures of like people holding frames, or like a lot of the big theme with the graduation pictures on Pinterest seemed to be like frames and stuff, and I thought that's a really good idea because people often have like graduation photos. I thought it would be kind of cool to have like a girl almost popping out of it, so I did that, and then I did a couple of bits around it. One thing I'm trying to do with my artwork in my sketchbook is to make it a little more interesting. I have a bad habit of leaving a lot of white space, so I really tried to fill the page with this. One thing I've realized since going hybrid digital and traditional, one thing I realized is that if doing things too small makes it really hard to transfer into a physical sketchbook. So I was trying not to do too many small details that would be too hard. This is why I kind of made her a little bigger on the page as well, to fill some space, but also so it wouldn't be so hard for me when it came to doing the line art. I really like how it came out though. Obviously when you can do digital pieces, you can zoom in, so doing smaller like details is so much easier than doing it traditionally, but I'm doing it traditionally, so I was like, let's keep this as kind of simple as possible. We can add details in later if we want, but I really like how it came out. I didn't expect to like it this much, but I really like the frame, the pieces around it, the expression, the girl, everything. I think it's super cute. And then moving on to the second piece, which is based around my small business years. There was so many ideas that came into my head for this page. I didn't even know where to start. I thought, what encapsulates a small business? Because when it comes to, going to university, the big thing is graduating at the end of it. So that was kind of easy to come up with. This small business piece wasn't, because I was like, there's so much that goes into it, like marketing, I have mascots, I have products, shipping, filming, everything. So I thought, let's make a collage page. Let's just make it completely chaos. I want to fill the page. Let's do it. And as you can see, I did trace a few things. One of the big things I did trace was a hand, because I could not figure it out, guys. I was doing it for half an hour and I was like, you know what? I give up. Let's just see if I can figure this out here. So, and then with my products as well, I was like, okay, well, I've already drawn these things a lot, so let's just place them in. At this point, I'd been drawing or sketching for like 10 hours. I'm a very slow drawer, especially when it comes to sketching, so I was getting a little tired. Also, I wasn't very well that day, and this sounds like a bunch of excuses, but I really wasn't feeling well either. So I did end up putting in a couple of my sticker sheet designs and stuff, but you know what? It's made to encapsulate my small business, so I figured that would be okay, and I'm happy with that. Kind of wanted them to look like they were almost like stickers on the page, because obviously I run a stationery business, a sticker business, so I thought that'd be really cute. I added in my mascots, some products, a phone, because I feel like I did a lot with my phone for my small business, like Instagram, TikTok. We've got some boxes in the corner, of course a camera since I was doing YouTube, and then I've got a bunch of like my branding, like the stars and the clouds in there too. I really like how this came out. I think it's so cute. and it's much different from anything that I've done before.
Ooh, it's spooky. Okay, so the sketches are done. I am super happy with how they turned out. So I'm gonna do the liner. One thing I really like about this hybrid kind of traditional and digital art thing that I've been doing recently is how things change from being a digital piece to a traditional piece. So obviously, when you're doing digital art, like, you can change things, you can go back, you can fix them, you can undo, you can erase, you can get everything perfect. With traditional, obviously, if you make a mistake doing the line art, you make a line too thick, or it just ends up not being the right shape for whatever reason, or my hands get quite shaky, like, it can really change everything. Because even though I am doing the line art, like, I'm tracing it from a digital piece, it never looks the same. It always looks slightly different. Like, the eyes I messed up a little bit. So interesting, because I think one little line can turn an expression from being super wide-eyed. She's kind of like, her eyes look kind of like hooded over now. And not that I hate it, because I kind of like that I've got both pieces to compare. And like, sometimes if I want to, I could color this digitally and have both a traditional and digital piece of this if I wanted to. And I really like that. I think it's really interesting to see how like art pieces can change depending on like what medium you're doing and how it looks different every single time. Like, you're never going to be able to do the exact same art piece twice, because there's always going to be a little line out of place, or something's going to have gone wrong, or like, I kind of like it because it feels like I've got the perfect digital version and then I've got this kind of imperfect, quirky traditional version. I just really like it. It's something I never thought about before. I think it's good for me though, because I've noticed, I don't know if my hand was always like this, but I have noticed that since coming back from doing digital art, my hand is very shaky. So obviously with digital art, you get like the stabilization on the brushes as well. Whereas like with, obviously you don't get that in real life. So I feel like my hands are a lot more shaky now than they've ever been. Like, at least I never noticed it before. Okay, looking good. So we can move on to the second page, the last page of my sketchbook. My head was in the way the entire time and I knew that, but it was because it was so far away from me that I was like, I can't actually really see what I'm doing. So I just ended up not filming that part. But yes, it is done and I'm loving how it looks. Okay, so here we are. We're ready to do the coloring. I put a piece of cardboard behind the artwork because for some reason I felt very paranoid that when I do alcohol markers, it's gonna leak to the next page. I never feel that way when I'm doing individual pieces, but I'm really worried that I might accidentally ruin this one. For some reason, I've never had those feelings before, but now that I'm doing 2 pages, I'm suddenly feeling a bit paranoid. So let's just put that there, you know, keep it separated. I haven't really planned out the colors for these. This one's not, the small business page isn't too bad, because I mean, these are like products. These are my mascots. I already kind of know the colors, so that's not too bad. But in terms of the graduation page, I actually don't know what I want the colors to be. I'm thinking make this like a gold frame, because I feel like gold and red are pretty much like the graduation colors, if you will. So obviously this will be black, maybe like a bit of, you know, like the tassel will be like a golden color. Maybe like make this like a cream red. So it's gonna be black, red, and gold pretty much. In terms of lighting, I'd like it to kind of be shining down from this way, because I think it can be kind of like a spotlight, I guess. So the shadows will be bigger in these areas, like in the underneath. I think I might have it slightly coming from this way though, so maybe we'll have it so like this part here, this side is slightly wider, slightly more shadow on this side, just so it looks like it's kind of coming from that way. Why is the red smudging like that? What the heck? It's blending real well. It's smudging everywhere. I think this red was too saturated after all. I wanted like some red undertones. I think it's a little too much. That's fine. I can go over it in like a darker kind of skin tone and make it more like a brown. Maybe like an orange would have been better. That's what I probably would have wanted, not a red. Why did I go with red? What possessed me to do that? Okay, well, well, you know, it is what it is. We can't really change it. So I think what I might do is, oh, let's go with like a Y. Let's see if we can fix this. Something that like mutes it a little bit, because it looks like a very, very saturated red right now. So maybe if we just kind of like, there we go. That red is like really smudging everywhere too. Like, look at the way it's bleeding. What the heck is that about? I would have assumed it would have happened if I was using too much alcohol marker, because that can happen, but I literally did one layer over the red and it started smudging like that. Like, I don't know where that's come from, to be honest. I'm trying to be a bit more experimental with my coloring and stuff. Maybe this wasn't the time or the place for it, but the reason I'm trying to be a bit more experimental with my coloring is because I feel like it's usually very dull and I would like it to look a little better, but I maybe should have just saved that. I got confident. I was like, okay, we'll try this. I'm sure it'll work fine. It didn't work fine. I use this brown so much. I feel like it's gonna run out soon. And that scares me because I'm lucky I even bought Copic pens at all. Like, I only own 12 of them and it cost me like £70 or something. More than that maybe. Like, I'm lucky I can even afford these. Like, how am I going to afford the refills? I don't even know. So when they run out, I'm just like, what do I do? Do I get rid of them? Do I keep them? Am I ever going to be able to afford the refills? Maybe. Maybe if I buy one at a time, it won't be so bad. I think it actually doesn't look too... I mean, the chin looks really bad. I don't know why it's bled like that. That's crazy. I probably will just go over it with a gel pen, so we should be able to hide that pretty easily. But I have never had that happen on this paper before, so I don't know why it's happening now. Rude. I actually have to fix this chin now because it keeps staring at me and it's bothering me so much. It looks like it's getting bigger. Is it getting bigger to you guys? Okay, that's a lot better. I can deal with that. It was just bothering me so much seeing it. I was like, oh god, I can't keep looking at it. I usually go in with the gel pen later, but I was like, I have to get rid of it now. It's bothering me.
So luckily, the chin was the only thing that went wrong. I'm still not entirely sure why it bled like that, but the rest of this artwork went really well and I'm really happy with how it came out. I really enjoyed coloring it. I do want to say, I know the line art looks a little bit messy right now and it's not exactly very interesting to look at. One thing that I've been doing recently is I've been thickening up the line art after I've colored in, because when you make line art thicker in some areas, it can cause bleeding. When you put alcohol markers on top of it, it can like smudge the ink. So I found putting it over, once I've done the alcohol markers in the coloring part, I found putting the line art over it and thickening it that way has been a lot more effective for me. I also find that it makes the line art look a lot crisper as well this way. So that's the way I've been doing it and I think it's been looking really, really good. So I'm going to do that after I finish the coloring bit, which you'll see a little later on.
One thing I didn't consider with the frame for some reason is that I'm probably going to want to color this part as well. In my head, I was just going to do the outer part, but I think I'm probably going to do the outer part as like a lighter gold and then the inner is like a bit of a, I guess, think of it as like a 31 kind of color where it's more of like a bronzy, muted, very, very muted kind of browny orange, I guess. I might do the frame now, because I want the frame to be like a nice goldy kind of color. Maybe for the highlights we could do like 45, and then for the gold I think maybe like 45 for the highlights, and then for the darker portions we could do like a 34 or 33, which pretty much look exactly the same. And then maybe for the darker parts we could do like a 31. I don't know how it would, maybe we could actually use and see what the brown would look like, because I don't know if maybe those three colors are too similar just in this small portion. And then we can blend those together to see if that would look like a nice gold. Yeah, I like that actually. That's cute. That blends quite nicely together.
I think when I began to color in the frame, I think that's when the picture kind of started coming together for me, because up until now I did like it, but when I added that backdrop, which you'll see in a little bit, the bronze backdrop, I think it just made the picture, I just think it really tied it all together for me. I was like, okay, this is exactly what I wanted it to look like. So I've never really colored gold before, so this was definitely a little bit experimental for me. I wasn't entirely sure how to go about it. I knew I wanted to obviously make sure there was plenty of highlights in there, with the darker areas being more of like a brown, kind of making it look like, I guess, a rustic gold, kind of like an older gold frame rather than like a modern new shiny gold frame. That's just how I like my girl to look. I also did the accent parts of it as well. I was gonna leave the papers white for some reason, like the little scrolls, but then I decided to make them more of like a, I guess, what kind of color is that, like a sandy kind of color, just so it stands out from the white page, because I did not like that look. But this is where it kind of all started coming together for me. I left a little bit of a border around the character just because I thought with the brown hair, I didn't know if maybe it would blend too much together. I wanted her to kind of look like she was popping out of the frame, not blending in with it too much. So I did make sure to keep like a white outline around her, which I'm glad I did, because I think it looks so cute. I think she looks like she's glowing a little bit, like she's backlit. I kind of like that. And then for the books, I just kept them pretty much the same kind of color scheme that I have been doing this entire page. Reds, browns, golds, that kind of stuff, just to keep it in line with everything else. And here is the final look. Looking good. Add some to the hair too. I still think I want to add some pencil to it to add some depth. Like the gold especially, you could do with a lot of highlighting, because I feel like it doesn't look like gold right now. It just looks like yellow. So I think that'll help it. And then for the pencil, like I said, I think what I will do is I'll just darken some areas. There, cute. Okay. So now I'm just going to take my Prismacolors and I'm just going to darken some areas, I think. Maybe I should have darkened some areas before I added in the sparkles, but it is what it is. My brain works in mysterious ways and I never do things in the right order. Okay, maybe like this brown would actually do quite well. I really like adding the pencil because it adds a bit of texture too, and I just really enjoy that. Oh hell yeah, that is adorable. I love that. What I am gonna do though is I'm gonna take this pencil and I'm gonna cover some of this red up with the pencil, because one thing I've realized is that pencil is really good for covering up markers if you do anything wrong, and it's very helpful. Finally, we can move on to the last page, the last page of my sketchbook. I can't believe it. I am finally on the last page of this sketchbook. There were so many times, so many days where I'd sit there and tell myself, I am never finishing this sketchbook. It's never gonna happen. This sketchbook's gonna be with me until the day I die. It's not gonna be finished. I just never thought it would happen with me transitioning to digital art and doing that a lot more. So doing this final page, honestly, it's so nice. It really is. And I really, really like how it looks. I've never done anything like this before, where it's kind of like that collage-y style. There's so much going on. It was so fun, and I like it because I think it's kind of setting up my next sketchbook as well, because I do want to continue to do these kinds of pages. Not for every page, but one thing I really liked about doing this collage was that it pushed me to do things that I wouldn't usually do, like you know, the hand holding the phone. And the thing with my small business as well that I really liked about having a small business was that it kind of pushed me out of my art comfort zone. I was drawing things that I never really had drawn before. I was drawing animals a lot more. I was drawing stationery and just everyday objects. I think it really helped me with shape and perspective, and I don't want to go back to only drawing characters all the time. I want to make sure that I'm continuing to evolve my art. So I think doing these collage pages and kind of, I guess, giving myself a reason to draw more things that I wouldn't usually draw is going to be essential for growing my artwork, but also I think making my sketchbook a little bit more fun. One thing about this sketchbook, and I know it's 7 years old, so obviously my art's evolved quite a lot, but even to the end, I feel like, excluding the last 2 pages, I feel like a lot of the pages look pretty similar, as it's just like a character on a plain white background. There's not a lot to them. Well, not at the beginning of this sketchbook, you'll see, because I do go through it later, like it's not the case, but for a lot of the pages it still is the case, and I want to change that. I want to make sure that every page in my sketchbook looks a little bit more interesting. It looks a little bit more filled out, a little bit more thought through. These last 2 pages have been so fun, and I think I definitely could take my art to that next level. And we're starting a new sketchbook. This new sketchbook is going to be my first new sketchbook in 7 years. I am so excited for it, and I kind of don't want to, I guess, let myself down by getting back into all those comfort zones that I had. I think I want to keep pushing myself, and doing the hybrid digital and traditional art has actually really helped, because I feel like I'm less scared to try new things now that I sketch digitally and color traditionally, because if I make a mistake in the sketching process, it's so easy to just erase or undo, and then I color it in and put it into my physical sketchbook, and I don't know, it feels like it's kind of like I'm staying in my comfort zone, but I'm also pushing myself. It's like a nice little balance. So with this page, honestly, I just had so much fun. I wasn't really going in any order. I was just kind of coloring in whatever I felt like coloring in next. There were a couple of times, like with the red panda, for example, the orange, I did do a red for it, and then it was too red, and then I did an orange over the top, thinking it would kind of mute it a little bit, and then it came a little too orange. So it didn't exactly go how I wanted, but I know I keep talking about getting back into traditional art, but again, it's one of those things I'm kind of relearning, is how to like layer colors and getting the right shade of the color you want as well, and just knowing those little tricks, because they can really make or break your artwork. One thing that I did notice was I was struggling to know when to stop when it came towards the end, because like I said, I've never really done this style of page before, so I kind of was like, well, I could just keep going and going and going. Like, how do I know when to stop? Usually I know when to stop when the character's colored, but with this, it was like I just kept adding more and more, but I think it turned out really good. I even like doing the background portions and just kind of seeing, I guess, what would work, and just having fun with it. It just felt so nice, like chaos on a page, but like a good kind of chaos, and I think it does represent my small business quite a lot throughout the years. I think I got everything in there that I pretty much wanted to get in there. With the backgrounds, I did try to make sure to separate them, but I kept it mostly this kind of blue color, because obviously my small business color was like blue and white. So I kept up that theme. I added some polka dots, I added some stripes. I didn't plan it out too much. I just kind of did whatever felt right, and I think it turned out really good in the end. I'm so happy with it.
Okay, so I think we're pretty much done. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to thicken up some lines. I might go in with some pencils and maybe darken some areas to make it give some areas a bit more depth. But to be honest, I'm kind of happy to keep it not so shaded as the other one, because I feel like it fits the art style of my small business, and I quite like that. So we'll see how I feel, but I think first of all, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to thicken up some lines, I'm going to add some white gel accents, and just, yeah. Okay, I think that's good. I'm not really sure like when to stop with these, because it feels like I could just keep going and finding more things to do. I've never really done a collage page before, so I'm just like, well, when do you stop, you know? Like, usually for me, I stop because the character is finished, it's complete. But then with this, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I could add some more here and I could do a bit more there. Like, it's actually kind of hard to know when to stop with this. I am super happy with this. I've never really done a page like this before. I think it's been really fun, and I think it's really set up the stage for my next sketchbook, where hopefully we'll see a lot more pages like this. Maybe not fully complete pages like this, but I would like to start being a bit more, even with the previous page we did, I would like to start filling out pages a bit more, adding stuff to them, like even if it's just a background like this, rather than just having a plain character like that, you know, adding some stuff to it, getting used to adding a bit more, making it a bit more interesting. So yeah, I think this might be like the most interesting page in this entire sketchbook. But that is it. Let's quickly write the date. So it's the 17th of November 2025. Okay, and with that, we have finally finished my 7-year sketchbook. I started this when I was 18 years old. It's insane how long I've had this book for. I was a teenager when I started this, and I'm 25. I'm 26 in a couple weeks. So which page do you guys prefer? I feel like this one's much more uniform. The colors are a bit like more, I think, what's the word, less quirky, I was gonna say less fun, but maybe it's just more uniform. Everything feels like it's a little bit more less chaotic, let's say. Then you've got this one. It's bright, it's colorful, it's quirky, it's fun. So which one do you guys prefer most? Do you prefer the more uniform kind of look, or do you prefer the chaos on a page? Which one do you prefer? I'm so happy with the last 2 pages as well. I think it's so nice to see the difference of like when I first started and
when I have finished. So let's actually go back to the start. I think I've shown you guys a couple times what the front page looked like. So this was the first ever page that I did in the sketchbook. 7th of November 2018, and I did kind of do some sort of background. I don't know what that is. It kind of makes the page look like it's supposed to be like the Japanese flag or something. And we've got like these. I kind of was doing a little bit of something in the background, but it wasn't like very well thought out. It was literally just like, what can I do to put in the background? This one's pretty cool. I do like this one. I guess we're having a little flip through of my sketchbook to show you guys the progress from 7 years. I feel like it's only appropriate. Oh, this one was watercolors, and I bought them really cheap from a local shop. They're obviously not a good quality though, because look at how chalky it looks. I drew the character in alcohol markers, and I drew the background in like these watercolors, but they're just the chalky kind of paints that aren't very good. See, I was trying to do some backgrounds and I just stopped for some reason. I need to get back into this. I need to get back into doing these full page spreads because they look so much better. I still really like this one. I still really like this one. This is going into 2019. I think you can see a lot of improvements. This was when I played Sun and Moon for the first time, and I freaking love that game. I love Pokemon Sun and Moon. So I drew this with my team at the time, and I did some backgrounds. It's not, you know what, the backgrounds aren't great, but I was trying. Things like this, like it's not that hard to add a couple extra things onto a page. I think I was going to do the whole page like checkered, and I can see that I rubbed it out because I was like, no, that's going to take me forever. But yeah, even just like a couple extra things, it turns it from something bland into something interesting. And then we're going into 2020, I think now. Yep, there we go. 18th, the 1st of the 18th, 2020. I think I was like, no, I wasn't in university at this point. At this point, I wasn't even in university. Oh no, I was in university at this point because I started in 2019, so I would have been in university at this point. This was when COVID happened. I think this was the last movie I saw before COVID happened, because Sunday the 1st of March 2020, and then I think we went into COVID lockdown at some point like later in the month. So at least I got to see this movie first, and it was really good. I really liked this movie. And then I was trying here, December 2020, trying some watercolors for the first time. I think this is when I got my nice watercolors that I actually have now. A bit more high end. Obviously I'd never done watercolors before, so it wasn't perfect, but it was nice to attempt it for the first time. And then I kept trying more watercolor stuff, kept getting better and better at it, which is awesome. Going into 2021 now. This sketchbook, I just realized when I saw this page, because I drew this when me and my boyfriend went away for our first anniversary. This sketchbook has been with me longer than I've been with my boyfriend. That's crazy. We've been together like 5 years. Wow. Started this with no boyfriend and ended it with a boyfriend of 5 years. More watercolor stuff because I kept practicing and trying, and I was really enjoying it. And I was watching Spy Family at the time, and I love Spy Family. This, I think, was for I remember doing this when I first started my small business. It was one of the first videos I did where I was attempting to kind of like start doing this style of sketchbook. So I've always had this kind of, I guess, issue where I don't fill pages and I don't like it, but I'm also too scared to attempt to fill pages. So I did this for like a YouTube video. I don't think it's up anymore. Unfortunately, I think I deleted it because it wasn't getting views, and I think I just got like nervous about it. This was like probably my second ever video that I did. So this was probably when I first started my business. So everything after this, like I said, it's very far and few between because my business just took up so much of my time. And then literally 2025. So I don't even know. This was 2024. I don't know when that was. I don't even know when this one is because I don't think I marked it with a date, but I think it was like 2023 or something. No, if it was the start of my business, it would have been 2021, I think. Yeah. And you can see there's just a big change, I feel. Even just from like, if you compare this character to like this one, I think you can see my anatomy is a bit better. So digital art definitely helped me, and you can definitely see there's a massive change. There's a massive jump from like, I don't want to say it was bad or anything, but you can just see there's a massive jump in my skill because I took such a long break to do digital art, and it helped me in so many ways. So 2025, we're here. Oh, this is the watercolor attempt that didn't go very well for me. This is another watercolor attempt, and I really should have filled this page out more, but I just didn't. That's my bad. Pumpkin Witch redraw. And then this was from the last video. And then of course these two are from today. And I can't, honestly, I actually really like the sketchbook because I just love how you can see how much my art has grown. Like, what? I don't know. I just absolutely love that you can see such a big change over the years, over the 7 years. And finally, after 7 years, I get to start a new sketchbook. It is time to say goodbye to my old friend. It feels like a monumental moment. Like, wow. I've had this book for so long and now it's gonna go in storage with the rest of them. It's the book that has always been there for like the past 7 years through university and having a small business. But alas, the journey has come to an end, old friend, and you are going into storage with the rest of them. This was so much fun. I loved getting to finish my sketchbook and I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me. I'm so happy to finally say that I finished this sketchbook because at one point I didn't think I ever would. If you like this video, then please subscribe to follow me along on my small business journey. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!